everybody's having so many different experiences of this sort of isolation or change of some sort with work or home. And I just feel like this week especially, I've talked with so many people with different sorts of experiences that are really hard for them. Like a friend of mine is really isolated in a retirement home. He can't have visitors, he really can't go out. I have another friend that's really eager to get back to work. She's a small business owner, but it's not legal for her to work yet. Another friend is caring for a family member in her home under really challenging circumstances. Other students are, graduating from high school and college into a really hard job market and a lot of instability and unknowns. And what strikes me is that all of us are, going through this kind of on our own, or at least separated from a lot of our usual support resources, friends and family. We can see each other on Zoom, but we can't, just be in the same room together. And it's hard. It means, our lifestyles have changed, and change, even good change, right, is never really easy. So you can ask the caterpillar about that. I have cabbage moths and caterpillars in the garden this week. So I've been thinking about caterpillars lately, and it reminded me of something I've learned recently. Of course, the caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly process is very well known and very well used when it comes to thinking about change and evolving. But until recently, I really didn't have any idea of how radical that change was. Did you know that when a caterpillar goes into its chrysalis or its cocoon, it actually digests itself? So I read a piece from Scientific American that says, and I quote, "If you were to cut open a cocoon or chrysalis at just the right time, caterpillar soup would ooze out." This was news to me. I don't know what I thought before, but caterpillar soup. And I'm just kind of wondering, that sort of resonates with me, and I wonder if it resonates with other people. Like, do you feel like we're going through so much change right now that on the inside, maybe some of us feel like caterpillar soup? When I was younger, I remember fearing change a lot, particularly when it meant investing more in my faith life. I remember thinking, what if I start listening to God, like really listening, and he tells me that I need to go to the mission field, to somewhere I don't want to be? It seemed safer at that time not to listen too hard. And it really wasn't until I was about 30 that I really absorbed Jesus' teaching in Luke 11, where he says, "Which of you fathers, if your son asks for a fish, will give him a snake instead? Or if he asks for an egg, will give him a scorpion? If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give the Holy Spirit to those who ask him?" So really hearing that passage for the first time helped me to start listening a bit better. And I haven't always liked what I've heard, but I haven't ended up any place I couldn't handle, at least in the long run, yet. Still, this shelter-in-place lifestyle we've got going on right now is really opening up fresh perspectives, for me and for a lot of people I'm talking with these days. And I'm reflecting a lot now, on how I've lived up until this time and how I spent my time. And I'm kind of feeling like these changes we've been going through, I don't know if I can go back to how life was before. I don't think I want to go back. And that's going to involve hard work and hard choices. And, that caterpillar soup idea. So as you settle into your yoga practice today, I encourage you to let go of whatever changes you're experiencing that are happening in your world and inside you. And, we'll take time to focus on our breath and just listen to what God might have to say to you today about what you're experiencing, what those around you are experiencing, and the changes that are coming. See if you can kind of let it all go and open your heart to the butterfly that God plans for you to become. So if you'd like to just find your preferred way of sitting to get grounded, sitting or standing, wherever you're most comfortable, whether you prefer an easy seat, or if you prefer to be in child's pose, or if you prefer to stand in mountain pose, we'll just find our initial position and we'll do some box breathing together. So I'll meet you on my mat here. So if you are in an easy seat, you can kind of find your sit bones and ground down into them. Find your stability on the mat. If you're standing, you make sure that your hips are over your knees, over your ankles. Shoulders are over hips. Ears coming back over the shoulders. Find a place to rest your hands where you're comfortable. If you like to close your eyes, feel free. And we'll just do a little bit of box breathing where we inhale for about a count of 4 or 5. Hold it going across the top of the box and releasing for a count of 4 or 5. Holding it at the bottom. And again, inhaling. Hold it. And releasing. And hold it. Just go at your own pace for several cycles here, resting into your posture and into this practice. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. And if you're not yet on your mat in a seated position, please join us there if that's comfortable for you, or in a chair if that's better for you. If you've been in easy seat, you can change the cross of your legs here, even things out a bit. And we'll just start by bringing an ear to a shoulder. And exhaling, penduluming the chin across the chest. Other ear to other shoulder. And again, back to the first side. And to the second. Next time your chin is in the center of your chest, you can lift your head up. Inhaling a nice big yes, and exhaling back down. And inhaling up. And exhaling to neutral. We'll inhale here. And exhale to one side. Bringing one arm overhead. Inhale both arms up and exhale to the left or other side. Inhaling up and exhaling. Inhaling to rise up and exhaling. Inhaling both arms up, grabbing your right wrist with your left hand and leaning over to the left. Inhale straight up again, grabbing the left wrist with the right hand and exhaling to the right side. Inhaling back up and exhaling, turning to the left while the right hand comes down in front and left arm goes behind. Inhaling to rise up to center and the other side. Exhale. Inhale, rising to center, turning back to the left on your exhale. And inhale, rising to center. And exhale. Inhale, returning to center. Placing your hands on your knees. We'll just do a little hip rotation here. Inhaling as you come back and exhaling forward. Inhaling back and exhaling forward. Switching direction. Inhaling to the back and exhaling forward. Inhaling and exhaling. Returning to neutral. All right. You can bring your feet to the mat and we'll roll down onto our backs. Keeping the soles of the feet on the mat. And you can bring your arms out to the side for balance. And we'll just do gentle windshield wipers, dropping the knees to one side and then to the other. At your own pace. Continuing to breathe. The next time your knees are facing the ceiling, you can bring your knees in for a nice little squeeze. Lift your nose up towards them if that feels good on your back. Rock back and forth a little bit here. Inhale your hands and your feet towards the sky. And swivel your wrists and your ankles. Change direction here if you haven't already. Reaching again towards the sky and letting your shoulders drop back onto the mat. And we'll inhale, bringing the right hand and the left foot down to hover above the floor. And exhale, bringing them back towards the sky. Inhale the left hand, the right foot down to the mat, just hovering. Exhale back towards the sky. Making sure we engage the belly. Inhale, the right hand and left foot. Exhaling towards the sky. And again, right foot, left hand. Again, bring knees into the chest. Rock side to side on that lower back if that feels good. And then we'll roll forward to seated. And then join each other on hands and knees for cat and cow. So we're in our tabletop position here, with wrists right below the shoulders and knees right below the hips. Become aware of the line from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Find that neutral spine. We'll inhale into cow, bringing crown of head and tailbone towards the sky. And exhale, beginning at the tailbone, into cat. Middle of the back comes towards the sky, crown of head towards the mat. Inhale again into your cow. And exhale into your cat. One more time, inhaling into cow. Exhaling into cat. Return to your neutral spine, and we will thread the needle here. So we'll lift that left hand up high, and on an exhale, bring it between your wrist and your right knee, coming down onto that left arm. If you like, you can bring that right arm up for more stretch, or behind you. A couple of breaths right here. Unwind, return to your tabletop position. And this time we'll do the other arm. So I just lost track of which one was. Whichever's the other arm. I think it's right arm up. And then thread it through. Bringing that left arm up if you like, or behind you, for a little extra stretch on the left shoulder. And unwind, returning to your tabletop position and pressing back into child's pose. You can stretch your arms out nice and wide, put your forehead on the floor, or add a block underneath your chest or your head. If shoulders are an issue, you can have your arms behind you like this. And just remember, you can always return to your child's pose at any time during this practice if you just want to take a break. So a couple of breaths right here. We'll inhale our way up, and I'll meet you at the front of your mat, standing in mountain pose. We're going to start with Sun Salutation C. And this, I was reading, is a nice way to start a practice. It's a little more gentle than the regular Sun Salutation. If you don't feel comfortable getting up and down off the floor repeatedly, you can do the half salutation, reaching high, and then down into forward fold, halfway lift, forward fold, and back up. So if that is your preference, feel free to do that during this part. Otherwise, I will show Sun Salutation C here. So at the front of the mat, we'll inhale, arms up high, and exhale, forward fold. We'll inhale, stepping back into a low lunge with that back knee on the ground, okay? A couple breaths here as you settle into this. Feeling the stretch in the front of your hips. And then we're going to exhale, bring the right foot back by the left into downward facing dog. Okay, and we'll hold here for a couple of breaths. Feel free to walk your dog. Stretching out heels towards the mat, stretching the calves. We'll inhale forward into a plank. And then we're going to drop our knees and exhale all the way down to the mat. Keeping your hands just below the shoulders. We'll inhale into a baby cobra. And our goal is to make sure we're working the lower back here. So paying attention to that, you can lift your hands to see if you're lifting with your back or your hands. And then we'll exhale back into our downward facing dog. And again, a couple of breaths right here. We'll bring that left foot back up inside, in between the hands for another low lunge with that knee on the ground. Couple of breaths right here again. Giving a stretch in the front of the hips. And then we'll exhale, bringing the right foot to meet the left into our forward fold. On your next inhale, we'll rise up into mountain pose. And stand here for a couple of breaths. All right, so we'll do that again, starting on the other side with the right foot going back first. We'll go a little bit faster this time. So inhale, your arms rising up. Exhale into forward fold. Inhale, taking that right foot back into the low lunge. Again, here, making sure your knee is over your ankle for support. And then exhaling into our downward facing dog, left foot going back. We'll take a couple of breaths here. On your next inhale, we'll come forward into plank. A couple of breaths right here. And then drop your knees and then your chest and your chin towards the ground. Inhaling into your baby cobra. Exhaling back up to downward facing dog. A couple of breaths. And then inhaling that right foot forward, left knee down for that low lunge again. And on your next exhale, bring that left foot forward for forward fold. Inhaling all the way up into your mountain pose again. And resting here for a few breaths. That's probably starting to feel pretty familiar in your body. They're all moves that we've done many times in different orders probably. So let's do that again, and we'll do both sides. Just one full round, all right? So again, joining me at the top of your mat, inhaling up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bringing the left foot back into a low lunge. Exhaling into your downward facing dog. Inhaling forward into plank. And exhaling, knees, then chest down to the ground. Inhaling, baby cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhaling, left foot forward, low lunge. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, rising up into mountain. And exhaling, arms down. A couple of breaths here before we continue. On your next inhale, we'll bring our arms up high. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale the right foot back into the low lunge. And exhale, left foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to the plank. Exhale, knees down and then chest all the way to the floor. Inhale to your baby cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot comes forward to a low lunge. Exhale, forward fold. Left foot comes forward. Inhale, rising up to your Tadasana. Again, a few breaths right here. If you'd like to take child's pose, feel free. You can inhale for a little side to side stretch here. Again, like we were doing before, seated. Take the stretch that you need. If you prefer to be still in your mountain, you can do that too. Maybe a few shoulder shrugs and circles are in order as well. One way and then the other. If you'd like to reach out wide, you can do a little eagle arm standing here. Crossing right arm over the left. Back of hands together or palms, wherever you're at with it. Breathing into that upper back. Inhaling, elbows towards the sky. Exhale, elbows towards the mat. Returning to neutral. Opening up wide, putting the opposite arm on top, left arm for me. Back of hands, or palms together. Again, breathing into that upper back. Inhaling, elbows towards the sky. And exhaling, elbows towards the mat. And releasing. Shaking out your arms. All right. We'll head on to another standing flow here. This is one kind of a variation of what I learned earlier this week, which I thought you might like. So in this, we're going to be facing the front of the mat and the back of the mat. So the same thing happens in both directions, so I think it'll be okay to follow. So just kind of giving you a heads up there. All right. So we'll start at the front of the mat in our mountain pose. And there's going to be some chairs involved here. And we've talked about this before, where you can do chair, where you're going lower like this, or you can do more bar stool. But what you want to do is try to keep the tailbone somewhat tucked so it doesn't bother your lower back. At least that helps for me. And for arms can be up or at heart center or wherever is best for you too. So we'll inhale into our chair pose. And just take a couple of breaths here. Trying to bring the weight out of the toes and into the heels. And you want to be able to see your toes in front of your knees, okay? So you're not too far forward there. And then we'll bring that left foot back into a crescent lunge. So right knee is over right ankle, and you're kind of bringing that left heel over the ball of the foot. A couple of breaths here, and again, find your best arm position for you today. A couple of breaths, and then we're going to shift towards the side of the mat. Toes are out, heels are pointed in that horse pose. Okay. And a couple of breaths right here at whatever level you'd like to take it. And then heading towards the back of the mat. Now you've got your left knee is over your left ankle, right heel is over the right ball of the foot. A couple of breaths here in another crescent pose. We'll bring our hands down to frame that front foot. Put your weight into that right hand, and we'll lift the left arm high in an easy twist. Return the left hand to the mat, and we'll step forward into a forward fold. Inhale, rising back up to Tadasana. Couple of breaths right here. Again, we'll inhale and sit back into our chair or our bar stool, releasing the weight from our toes. And this time we'll bring that right foot back for crescent lunge. Again, a couple of breaths. Be sure to keep breathing here. We'll rotate to the side of the mat again for our horse pose. So the toes are out, heels are in. And then rotate to the right, to the front of the mat. So right foot is forward, left is back. Your crescent lunge again. Bringing hands down to the mat, putting our weight into the left hand, letting the right arm float high. think my dog is howling, sorry about that. Right hand comes down. And then exhale as we bring our feet together for a forward fold. And inhale, rising up. And exhale into your Tadasana. So rest here for a few breaths. And then we're going to do it again, adding on a little bit. So a couple of breaths right here. Okay, again, beginning at the front of the mat. We'll inhale, arms up and settle into chair or bar stool. Bring that left foot back for crescent. And this time, if you feel comfortable, you can bring your heart through your shoulders here. Bring arms down to cactus arms. Rising up and again. Inhaling heart through your shoulders. Rising back up. Coming to center. Into our first pose. And then to the other side, to the back of the mat. Crescent pose. Inhaling, a little back bend here. And this time, instead of our easy twist, we'll step forward into warrior three, whether that is like this, or if you want to pick it up like this, wherever you're at today. And then land that back to your Tadasana. A couple of breaths right here. Inhaling again, and settling into our chair pose. Stepping that right foot back into our crescent lunge. Inhaling, bringing the heart through the center, and exhaling, arms back up. Inhaling and exhaling. Rotating to our horse pose. Couple of breaths. And then rotating the other direction into our crescent towards the front of the mat. Inhaling as we bring our arms back, chest forward. Exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. From here, we'll go into our warrior three, wherever that's at for you. And return your foot to the mat when you're ready. Take a few breaths here in mountain pose. I'm going to share one more thing with you about this idea of the butterfly before we continue. Because there's something I left out about this metamorphosis process that I learned. And it has to do with imaginal discs. I had never heard of these before. Imaginal discs are highly organized groups of cells that are developed when the caterpillar is still in its egg. So some of the discs are destined to become its eyes, but some are destined to become the wings of the butterfly, the legs of the butterfly. They exist in the caterpillar that whole time. They survive the caterpillar soup, and then they emerge in the butterfly. In some species, some of the muscles and even parts of the nervous system are actually preserved going through that messy middle stage and come into the adult butterfly. So the adult butterfly actually retains memories from some of the later stages of being a caterpillar. So think about this when you hear what Paul told the Corinthians. If anyone is in Christ, that person is a new creation. The old has gone, the new is here. So I've been considering, the changes that we're going through in life and, right now and just in general. And, I like to think about that transformation as we're heading towards becoming butterflies. And what I really love about this idea of the imaginal discs is that it seems that like the caterpillar has what it needs from the beginning, and it brings these things forth when they're called for. So just as we bring forth the best of our old selves, or maybe parts of us that are in us but we never knew were there, they enable us to become these new people that God has probably always envisioned us to be. So let's move into the balance part of our practice. I'm thinking we'll start with tree and then head towards eagle, since we've warmed up our arms for that part. So think for a moment about your tree pose. And if you want to kind of do a little bit of loosening up your hip, I'm going to start on my left foot. So I'm kind of loosening my hip, reminding it that it wants to go outward as we head into tree. And start placing your weight into that left foot. And wherever your tree is today, meet it there. It can be kickstand, inside the calf, or inside the thigh. Wherever you're at, hands can be rooted, heart center or up. And just find your place of stillness and peace, and a few breaths right here. When you're ready, you can bring that foot to the mat. I love the opportunity to focus that tree gives us. So now we can do it on the other side if you want to work a little bit of motion into that left hip. Starting to lift the weight out of the left foot as you really ground down into that right foot. Feeling those four corners, the bottom of the foot, and kickstanding or coming to the calf or to the thigh, wherever you're at today. And then again, finding that point of stillness and focus, maybe imagining that butterfly that you're becoming. And when you're ready, you can return that leg to the ground. If you need to shake them out a little bit, do that. All right. So now we can think about our eagle pose. So we can open our arms wide to the side. And an exhale, cross that right arm over the left. And get those hands in position, back of hands or palms together. And then bend into our chair pose. Find that chair pose again, wherever it's comfortable for you. And bring that left leg over right to the kickstand or to wrap. Find that point of stillness again. And breathe. A few breaths right here. On your next exhale or inhale, rise up, and exhale, forward fold, folding it out. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, folding it out. Inhale, rising up. And we'll switch to the other side. Inhaling, arms nice and wide. And exhale, bring that left arm over right. Finding your grip there. Sitting down into our chair, releasing some of the weight from the toes. And when you're ready, lifting that right foot over left for your kickstand or to wrap it. Couple of breaths. So inhale, stretching up and releasing into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward. And inhale, rising up. Hands to heart center for a few breaths right here. When you're ready, let's come down onto the mat. And we'll do our one leg forward fold. So you're bringing that right leg out, left foot in. Inhaling, your arms up, nice and high, rising through the crown of your head, turning so your belly button is headed towards that thigh, and exhaling over it. Drawing the left lung forward here, the right lung back. Inhaling, rainbowing those arms up and over, left hand by left hip, and exhaling, stretching out that right side. Inhaling as you return to your seat, reaching up again, and turning, exhaling over that leg. Inhaling up and over, left hand by left hip, and stretching that right side body again. And returning your seat to the mat. And we'll switch legs here. So the left leg comes out, right leg folds in. Inhaling, our arms up, rising to the crown of the head, twisting, belly button over that left leg. Exhaling over that leg. Inhaling, right hand by your right hip, and lifting, stretching that left side body. Inhaling, back down. Both hands rise. Inhale. Turn over that left leg. Exhale. Over the left leg. Inhale, rising, right hand by right hip. And returning to a seated position on the mat. From here, put soles of the feet on the mat and recline. all the way down. Knees pointed towards the sky. We'll do a couple of bridges here. Take a breath or two, just getting used to being on your back. And when you're ready, we'll press the waistband into the mat and inhale, lifting the hips towards the sky. You might bring your shoulders under for a little support. Couple of breaths right here. And exhale, returning to the mat. One vertebrae at a time, all the way down. A nice breath right here. And then one more time. Pressing the waistband into the mat and inhaling. Rising up, hips towards the sky. And releasing. Feeling one vertebrae at a time, all the way down to the mat. We'll bring the left foot crossed over that right knee, right thigh for the figure four or reclined pigeon. If you'd like to grab behind your thigh or your shin to get a little more stretch there on the outer thigh, outer hip. Just breathe into whatever areas are tight and feel free to rock back and forth if that helps. Release, bring hands and feet towards the sky. And then we'll release that left foot to the mat, putting the right foot on top of the left thigh. And reaching through either to the back of the thigh or the shin. Flexing that right foot, protect the knee. Rocking a little bit if that helps. Bring both knees into your chest. If you'd like to go to happy baby, you can bring your knees into your armpits and grabbing the back of the thighs or the soles of the feet, just gently rocking side to side. Thinking about how you would like to spend your final relaxation time. If you want to be in Shavasana on your back, or if you prefer child's pose for a seated position. And when you're ready, make your way into your final relaxation position. If anyone is in Christ, that person is a new creation. The old is gone, the new is here. Please enjoy this time of relaxation.